But it is not possible to place human happiness in such a knowledge of separate substances as the aforesaid philosophers have held. For it is vain that it aims at an end which it cannot attain. Since then the end of man is happiness, towards which his natural desire tends, man's happiness cannot be placed in that which man cannot attain. Otherwise it would follow that man would be in vain, and his natural desire would be in vain, which is impossible. Now that it is impossible for man to understand separate substances according to the aforesaid positions, it is clear from what has been said. Therefore, man's happiness is not constituted in such a knowledge of separate substances. In addition, in order that the active intellect be united to us as a form in such a way that we understand separate substances through it, it is required that the generation of the intellect in habit be complete, according to Alexander, or according to Averroes, that all speculative understandings are actually made in us, which too return to the same thing. For according to this understanding is generated in us in habit, according to which speculative understandings become in us in action. Now all the species of sensible things are understood in potentiality. Therefore, in order for the active intellect to mate with something, it is necessary that it actually understands through the speculative intellect all the natures of sensible things and all their virtues, operations, and movements. It is not possible to know any man by the principles of speculative science, by which we are moved to the continuation of the agent's intellect, as they say, since from those things which are under our senses, from which the principles of speculative science are taken, it cannot be arrived at to know all the aforesaid. It is therefore impossible for any man to reach that continuation by the method assigned by them. It is not possible, therefore, that man's happiness should consist in such a continuance. Still, given that such a continuation of man's active intellect as they describe is possible, it is clear that such perfection has reached very few people, so much so that neither they nor any others, no matter how much they were interested in and expert in speculative sciences, dared to declare such a perfection about themselves, because all of them claimed to be ignorant of many things, as Aristotle, the quadrature of the circle, and the reasons for the order of the celestial bodies, in which, as he himself says in De Caelo 2, he can only give topical reasons, and what is necessary in them and their movers he reserves for others in Metaphysics 11. But happiness is a kind of common good to which many can reach unless they are blinded, as Aristotle says in Ethics 1. And this is also true of every natural end of any kind, that the very things which are of that kind, as in most cases, result. It is not possible, then, that man's ultimate happiness consists in the continuation of the aforesaid. It is clear that not even Aristotle, whose opinion the aforesaid philosophers try to follow, thought that such a continuation was the ultimate happiness of man. For he proves in the first of Ethics that the happiness of man is his activity according to his perfect virtue, whence it was necessary that he should determine the virtues, which he divided into moral and intellectual virtues, and he shows in 10 that man's ultimate happiness is in speculation. From this it is clear that there is no moral virtue in the act, neither prudence nor art, which are nevertheless intellectual. It is left then that there is an operation according to wisdom, which is the most important among the 3 intellectual residues, which are wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, as he shows in the 6th of the Ethics, whence also in the 10th of the Ethics he judges the wise to be happy. And wisdom, according to him, is one of the speculative sciences, the head of others, as he says in the 6th of Ethics, and at the beginning of Metaphysics, the knowledge which he intends to impart in that book, he names wisdom. It is clear then that Aristotle's opinion was that the ultimate happiness that a man can acquire in this life is knowledge of divine things, such as can be obtained through speculative sciences. And that latter method of knowing divine things, not by the way of speculative sciences, but by a certain natural order of generation, was devised by certain expositors.